Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Philly Phone Book, a podcast archive. I am your host, Gideon Carroll McDonald, and with me today is a wonderful, wonderful friend of mine, a mentor, a musician here in Philadelphia. You definitely know him. An author, a writer. We got John Faye in the house.
Hi, Gideon.
Hi, John.
Thanks for having me.
Ah, yes, of course.
Super excited about this.
Yay, thanks for doing this. This means the world.
Big pleasure.
How you been?
I've been pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, life is full of pros and cons.
Sure is.
Ups and downs. So, you know, my philosophy is always that if the pros outweigh the cons, you're doing pretty good that day.
Oh, wow. Yeah, true. Take it every day.
It is a daily thing.
Yeah.
A daily evaluation.
Start it. See how it goes. Check it at the end.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's another day if today doesn't work out, you know?
Has today been working out?
I'm here, so it's definitely working.
Ah, yay. Lovely. Awesome. I went to Olive Garden earlier, so it's been working out for
Wow.
me too.
Soup, salad, and breadsticks for you?
Heck yeah.
Right on.
Oh, no question. No doubt. No doubt. Well, John, I know you quite well.
You do.
I've known you for many a year, but our audience may not. So
Right.
why don't we take a little bit and the floor is yours.
To justify my existence on this program.
Yeah, an introduction, who you are.
I mean, I guess I first and foremost identify myself as a career musician.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in the Philly music scene for the better part of 3 decades. Although I began my musical life in the state of Delaware, where I grew up. So
Yeah.
my first serious band formed in Delaware, and that was a group called the Caulfields, who in the 90s, the ancient times known as the 90s, were a signed band. We were signed to A&M Records, and we put out 2 albums on that label, and during particularly the time when our first album came out, it was a very heady time because we had our single kind of take off nationally and internationally, and that afforded me some opportunities that are just, you know, you can't replicate. I was allowed to tour all over the place. You know, I saw just about every state in the country. I toured in Canada. Our song took off in Australia, of all places, so
Whoa.
we were able to tour for like a month in Australia,
wow.
which to this day is just one of those experiences that I treasure because the people there were just fantastic, like really, really welcoming.
Huh.
And so that was kind of like the foundation of the musical life that I live today, because weirdly enough, I mean, as we all know, what goes up comes down.
Mm-hmm.
So actually by like 1997, the Caulfields, our second album came out and we toured behind it, but there were like you know, we can get into this later, but
Yeah.
music industry is very crazy.
It's
very,
a beast.
You know, there's things about it that when you learn them for the first time are very discouraging. But long-ish story short, the band broke up in 1997, and I was more or less at a pretty serious crossroads at that point because I had been doing music for about a decade by then. I was a decade in, and when you kind of like have your quote-unquote 15 minutes of fame and then it's gone, you're kind of like in this position, well, what do I do? Because at that point, I still, you know, I still was relatively young, and, you know, your family, who cares deeply about you, starts saying stuff like, so, you gonna, like, go back to school, or are you gonna, like, get a job, or what are you gonna do?
What's next?
What's next on your plate?
Yeah.
And, so I had to make a very kind of important decision at that point, and which was, there's no plan B. I got to keep going.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, and so I began an independent music career, which exists to this day, as you know. And that has been equally, if not more, fulfilling than the label career. And as we can kind of fold our history into this, sometime in the 2000s, I started, I kind of like twofold. I began teaching songwriting at Drexel University, and the same year, which was 2005,
Go Dragons.
Go Dragons. I'm not a rah Drexel guy. But anyway, that same year, I began working as a vocal instructor and band coach at Bluebond Guitars and Music School.
Shout out.
Which is where I eventually met you.
Yay!
Yes.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, I had started taking drum lessons at the young age of 10.
You were pretty young.
I was pretty young.
Yeah.
Alongside my younger brother.
Toby was even younger.
Toby was little.
He was wee.
With a Strat just hanging down to his knees.
Yeah. And your sister.
And my sister.
Went there too.
Yeah, my sister Emily. She all three of us just jumped right in. I remember, I feel like it was a moment where our parents just decided on a whim, like, are all of you interested in playing music? And we were all like, yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah, sure. I have a specific memory of, because I'm obsessed with the Muppets. Like, I grew up with them.
Yeah.
Very informative to myself as a performer.
Yes.
And
well, now that you say that.
Does it make sense?
It makes total sense. Yes. Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And so Animal was like the footprint for what I followed. And I remember drumming like on my knees, like in the car, because we had soundtracks all the time going. Those were the only things I asked for.
Yeah.
And so I'd be listening to those, drumming along, not really knowing what that meant. And then my parents were just like, "Do you want to like learn how to do that?" I was like, "Is that an option?"
Spare your knees.
Yeah, spare your knees, spare our noise, our ears, get you a little bit more of a sense of rhythm. Mm-hmm. And stuck to Bluebond for many years.
The more, well, so let's flash forward to the show that we just did together.
Oh, yes, we did.
So we played at Philomoka, the Jet Planes, and my band, and a few other
incredible groups,
really good bands as well. But to watch you and watch Toby and watch Emmett up there as this, like, seriously good band that you've become, it was such a cool thing for me to observe and just enjoy. Because, like, you know, I remember those days up in the musky top floor. It wasn't even the top floor. It was like the second floor. Second of 3 or 4. I can't remember how tall that building.
It felt like forever, honestly. It felt like it just could keep going up.
Well, just, you know, if I can describe the band room for your listeners, it's I can say with certainty that in the over 10 years that I was there, that room got vacuumed precisely twice. And it was by me bringing my own vacuum there.
Oh, wow.
So,
it's
I
dedication.
don't know. There's probably a lot of particulate matter that we all took in unwittingly.
Sure.
That
it'll come up later.
It may have consequences down the road. I'm just saying. But But there was something about just being in that room on a Saturday afternoon with you guys. And, you know, I was saying to, so the singer from the No Good Crowd, Jim McGuinn, is a friend of mine. I was saying to him, I was like, yeah, these guys used to, you know, be kids at Bluebond. And I was like, at the time, I knew you were all different and going to do something beyond the school. And it was because you had great taste.
Oh.
Like the songs that you guys wanted to do, I was like, how do you even know what this is? You know, I'm going to interview you now. Like, I'm very curious. Like, what gave the three of you, like, I mean, I know that obviously early on, you know, Toby was like very into like the Green Day, Billy Joe thing.
Yes, he was.
But eventually you guys kind of like started leaning into this like 60s post Beatles pop rock stuff.
Yep.
And I would like to know where that came from. Is it just because your parents are that cool?
They are very cool. They are very cool. Honestly, I gotta hand a lot of it to Emmett. I mean, to no surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Emmett Rigg, to those who know, there was an episode with Emmett Rigg, so go check that one out if you want to learn more about him. But he was so invested in that era of music growing up. And it was an oddity to the people in school. I remember growing up with him and being like, what? Or, like... I knew a lot of these groups also because my parents would play these bands for us just like in the car all the time. Honestly, I have to hand it a lot to the Muppets also. Like it was this early like 70s era of musicians that we got to see on TV and things. But like I remember listening to CCR constantly growing up.
Yeah.
And like Electric Light Orchestra is like my favorite band. Like that is number one for me. And so that was always my influence. And then having Emmett, like, really reinstate that belief in music, then getting to translate that into Bluebond and being like, well, clearly everyone else likes this music, so let's keep doing this.
Well, I had basically a sort of epiphany with that era of music as well, but I wasn't until I grew up with a lot of it because of my older sisters, but like actively going out and like buying the records, like the Byrds albums and the Mamas and the Papas albums, like that was a college thing for me. It was not a high school thing. So I always felt like you guys are like way ahead of the curve. Like just anytime a student of music knows the value of looking back at what has come before them and appreciates specific eras of music and that kind of thing. Like that's, to me, that's very telling. Like you weren't the guys coming in wanting to play Seven Nation Army. You know what I mean?
No, no, never wanted to, never will. Yeah. It was really fun to be able to like get to work on that kind of music. I remember playing, I think my first song that I played with, like, it was Emmett and Jamie and John Hay. Johnny Hay. Incredible guy. And you leading us. And I think my first song in that set that I played drums for was Billy Idol. It was a Billy Idol song.
Oh.
I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me.
It was, it's
probably the one.
Probably White Wedding or Rebel Yell.
It was Rebel Yell.
Okay.
There it is.
There's only really two that make sense for a rock school to do.
100%.
Yeah. Rebel Yell. Yeah.
Rebel Yell. And being able to do that was like so informative. And then it just felt like we kept being able to find those songs and find different things going on. And even when the Jet Plane started, when Emmett and I were like, we could keep doing this. Like, we could make music like that, or at least inspired by that, because there's not a lot of people doing that right now.
No.
And so when we started doing that in high school, it was like, especially to the people around us, they were like, oh, you guys like that music? Yeah. Great, cool. Like, our teachers were obsessed with it.
Well, yeah.
Like, well, of course
anytime that happens, the instructors are going to go wild. That's a given.
And then it just kind of stuck. And then Toby's honestly, grown his love for music as he's dived more into it.
Sure.
Because he started with that 90s era stuff, and honestly still is. And that's kind of where the Jet Planes sit now, where we were able to find Toby's influence of like that 90s sort of rock, and then bring that into that sort of later 60s, 70s fold.
Like the beginnings of the power pop era.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we were able to kind of marry the two, which is why our most recent album I'm as proud of, because it feels like a marriage between the two sounds.
Yeah.
And really letting Toby's influence take charge in some of those songs.
Yeah.
Which I was really proud of. I was really happy to have done that. I mean, to make music with him is wonderful.
It's awesome.
And getting to play in a band with all of these people for as long as I have.
I know.
So,
well, I mean, that's the cool thing about it, is that your musical history together is already substantial.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, Emmett and I could just I mean, we start playing and we just listen and we know when we're ending it. We know what we're doing with it. We don't have to communicate at all anymore,
no,
it
was like I said, a super cool experience for me, and to just sort of like stand there and be like, see them, huh? They were my guys.
Well, thank you.
No,
I mean, literally, you were the reason why we learned how to get that communication down.
Well, that's like very cool to hear. And it's all I ever really wanted out of being at Bluebond was to have that, any kind of impact like that.
And it worked.
Because that's, like we discussed earlier, I mean, the actual surroundings we were in were not the most pleasant.
No.
But the results of, just, being up there for however many weeks, like practicing that group of songs and then getting to play it in front of people, which was always super fun.
Oh, yeah. All those shows. Connie's Rick Rack. We played Dobbs once.
Yeah.
We got to do... we played Khyber, I think, once later.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to have those venues in my bones that early.
Yeah.
And, like, getting that experience. And honestly, the end goal of having that, like, big show at the end of the year and having, I mean, upwards of, like, what felt like 14, 15 weeks of every Saturday.
Yeah.
Like that, like, it is so valuable because it puts in like a work ethic for that kind of thing very early on.
Yeah, for sure.
And like the value of like practicing, like literally just practicing with the people around you.
Well, yeah, just like having to be there is a good thing.
Oh yeah,
like
literally, yeah, we paid to be there.
Yes, your parents paid to be there, pay for you to be there.
Yep.
And if somebody like missed a rehearsal, I mean, it was kind of a big deal. Like, like the look on everybody else's face, like what the like
looking around at the posters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. But I guess that's part of my story that I think is really important. And in addition to like pivoting into, I guess, like a music education world, which is how you could put that. I've always still kind of like kept up doing what I'm doing. So, all throughout the 2000s, I played in a band called Ike, which you also know the bass player, Joanne, who worked at Bluebond.
Shout out Joanne.
Yes.
Everybody
loves
you
Joanne. Yes.
Because Joanne is great.
She is.
Getting to be greeted by Joanne twice a week. With my lesson and band every week for like many years of my life.
She's like the ultimate greeter.
Literally.
Yeah. And that was, it was really cool for the two of us to not only be part of the Bluebond family, but be part of a band together as well. And, I just feel super lucky in that every kind of like phase of my music career, I've gotten to make music, connect with like just incredible people all along the way. And it's been a lot of different people.
Yeah.
I mean, just different bands that I've had. I started getting comfortable with change around that same time.
Takes time.
And so when something, I think in general, most things in the world inevitably kind of like run a course and require a reevaluation or a pivot into something different.
For sure.
And rather than that being like a source of upset to me, I started to embrace it and not take the attitude like, well, I'm just like cutting this off and dumping it like it's nothing.
Right.
Like I appreciate everything, but I don't feel badly when something ends and something new begins.
Right.
And so I think that attitude in a lot of ways has been good for me in terms of the longevity that I've enjoyed, because I have had to start over lots of times.
Yeah. And
now I 1,000% embrace that. And so here we are, 2025. I'm still doing music as my, I don't do any other like 9 to 5-ish job.
Yeah, of course.
Certainly any working musician in this day and age has to hustle with multiple sources of how they make money. So I produce artists. I do all kinds of different stuff in the music realm.
Right.
But primarily, I'm able to focus on being a full-time musician, which is all I ever really wanted. So I feel really lucky about that.
Ah, yay.
Yeah.
With that, finding your career and sort of landing in this nice spot, a lot of that has to do with the time spent here in Philly.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Sure.
And, I think that Philadelphia's music scene is so unique and so rewarding to be a part of. So I'd just love to know, like, how the city has influenced you while you've been here and kind of what you've learned from it.
I mean, it's a huge part of my inspiration and existence at this point. I mean, I don't literally live in the city. I live in Jenkintown.
Right.
Which, for sticklers of this kind of thing, is literally 2 miles north of North Philly.
I'll let it slide.
No, I mean, I'm happy to be from J-Town. I got no problem with it. But, but the fact of the matter is, I have spent so much of my time in the city. I still go to lots of shows all the time, primarily local music shows.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go to like concerts or, the $50 and above type shows. But primarily I'm going out multiple nights a week and seeing bands.
Yeah.
And
just valuable.
That has been like a big thing that just kind of like fills my cup, as it were. Because I like the community a lot. I mean, there's different, like any big city, like there's different little factions
Yeah.
that you can kind of like be around. And like, I've really been thrilled to just sort of like be around a lot of different people, a lot of different musicians who play very different styles of music. And it's all been very warm and welcoming, which for someone like me who has had like a lot of strolls around the block, as it were.
Yeah.
It's really nice because I have been around during times when it wasn't as cool.
Yeah. For sure.
And I do think that in the past, almost say 10 years or, Philadelphia has not only produced its very fair share of national artists, but like the underground scene is really vibrant.
100%.
As you can see that in how many house venues there are that do really well.
Oh yeah.
You can see that in like the turnout at things like West Philly Porch Fest, which I played this year for the first time, which was super fun.
Porch Fest is great.
Yeah, it's those like, so like my attitude is almost counterintuitive to like, the musician attitude of like bigger is better. Like to me, like smaller is where it's at in a lot of ways, because the connection you make in a setting that's more intimate is actually better for you in the long run in terms of gaining like true fans.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
That's why I do a lot. I do as many like private shows, house concerts as I can, and they're not all, West Philly moldy basement. Like a lot of people have that image of what a house show is. I mean, some of them are, very cool. Like you're in kind of like an old house with a parlor.
Oh yeah.
And a velour couch, and people are hanging out, and like I play a lot of those shows just solo by myself.
Yeah.
And so you can have almost you can run the gamut of experience in those settings.
Oh, for sure.
And I always really enjoy it.
Yeah, keep your ear to the ground, and you're able to have all kinds of different experiences with the underground scene.
Yeah.
I mean, we were playing. I mean, the Jet Planes have been around. Ugh. We've been playing since like 2019.
Yeah.
So we've been doing house shows for the last almost 5 years, and getting to see the differences between them and the differences between the year itself. And how active they were, and watching the lifespan of certain houses has been really interesting.
Yeah, I bet.
It's really cool because the people that go to these shows are like college students that just want to experience music. Like, so much of it has nothing to do with like getting your like quote unquote fans to go there. Like you could try and you get the word out, you share the information, but what we've been able to take from it has been the people that we meet there and the people that are ready to just like hear new music.
Yeah, that's what's great about it.
Yeah.
That's, you're playing to a very, an audience who is ready to receive.
Yes.
100%.
100%.
And that's very different from like a typical, your traditional bar gig where in a lot of ways, yeah, you can be, like, for example, like a great bar to play, or what used to be would be like the Grape Room.
Oh, love the Grape Room.
Super fun. People are, they're drinking, they're doing their thing, but the music is a big part of it.
Yeah.
But there's many bar type shows that, you're just kind of relegated to background and it's not really the focus. But like a house show, like that's whatever, like,
yeah,
nobody's going into that gross basement just for the hell of it. Like,
No.
They better get a reward.
100%. Oh, yeah. And Porch Fest was fun too. We've played it once or twice a little while ago, and that really is like a wonderful example of like Philly's like access to community.
Yeah.
I feel like that desire to just like, yeah, let's set up all of these bands. Who has a drum kit? Who has a porch we can use? Who has a PA that we could set up right now? Like, it's all about just getting together and making something happen for multiple days all over the place in one big part of West Philly, and like getting to just play for people that were walking across the street and then would stop and like what you're playing is so fun.
Back in the day, decades before even I was born, like there used to be a saying like, hey kids, let's put on a show. And it was like, that was the attitude. Yeah. Like, it's like kids in the 30s, like during the Depression would, their entertainment would be like, just walking out to the barn and like putting on a little play with sock puppets and this and that. And it's that spirit of can do, that I think it very much translates to what it's like to be part of the music community in Philadelphia.
100%.
And I just think that the older I get and the more kind of focused I become on what it is that really keeps me doing this thing.
Yeah. Because
it's certainly no longer for the same reasons that it might have been 20 years ago.
Right.
It's all completely now about my own satisfaction that I derive from doing shows and performing for people, and the sense of community that I can derive from it. And if that means that I make $50 and play to like 50 people as opposed to like making like, a couple $100 and maybe playing to like 3 times that amount of people, but they're not as interested.
Yeah.
I would take the $50.
100%.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can speak to that because you've had the experience of both ends, right?
Yeah.
Like
I've blown a lot of money in my life, Gideon. I'm embarrassed to say like how much money I made in the 90s that is not there anymore. It's
hey, money is meant to be spent.
That's my attitude.
That is why it exists.
I was able to like.
You're alive now.
Yeah, I'm still here.
You're still doing stuff.
But this gets to like my attitude of like maybe like a broader topic, which is, we live in a society that's kind of obsessed with money.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I've done my best to really kind of like not be part of that mentality, And in some ways, having that mentality has led to opportunities that actually do generate money. But, like I just feel like what your motivation is for doing anything is really important. And if you can say, I forget who it was. It might have been Barry White who said, like, don't do anything for money that you wouldn't do for free.
Yeah, fair.
You know, so that's kind of how I'm trying to do it. I mean,
sure.
Obviously, you have, like, realities that you must deal with.
Of course.
You know, paying the rent on time and what have you. But for the most part, I'm very lucky to be able to make my choices more rooted in what's going to make me happy. And that's pretty fortunate.
Would you say that was also influenced by the the success that you were able to find with the Caulfields at the time? And then, like, how it ended, would that then lead to some of the changes in your...
I would say that it's it's an important piece of that attitude.
For sure.
You know, like, having experienced something that, you know, it's probably not far-fetched to say that, like, a very, very minuscule percentage of musicians who are, like, doing this get to experience what I experienced.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Of course.
And I wouldn't do anything differently, to be honest with you, because, like, you can get really bogged down in, like, second-guessing your life. And being like, oh, if we had just done that, everything would have been this. Which is never really true.
No,
like, and so I just kind of feel like when I look at what my mentality was once we got the record contract, and I feel fortunate that I don't think the Caulfields ever did anything that I look back on and I'm just like, oh, that's a shame. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I stand by our records and our music, and you know, we were pretty much, you know, any time an entity or a corporation is investing hundreds of thousands of dollars into something, like, they're going to want to have a say.
Yeah.
But miraculously, they didn't meddle too much.
Really?
And I think that in retrospect, that's probably because they were like, yeah, these guys aren't going to be, like, superstars anyway. Just let them make their little records. But, you know, it is interesting because, like, so for example, our first album turned 30 this year.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. And I think that until you have that amount of time between recording a record and kind of assessing the circumstances under which you recorded it, like, 3 decades later, like, it was an incredible experience. But the thing that is the most valuable to me is that, I mean, obviously we didn't sell 1 million of them, but the people that liked our band, like, still like us. You know what I mean? Like, there's an enthusiasm that and an affection that those people have for that music that you could never have predicted when you made it.
Right.
You know, like, I didn't record any of those songs and be like, 30 years from now, man, people are still going to be, like, saying how much they like it. And so I think that kind of validates to me, like, how much we protected our creativity back then. Because we did have to say no to some things.
Yeah, I bet.
And that's not easy. When and the more you learn about what the music business really is, I don't know if you ever watch Rick Beato on YouTube.
I have not. I've heard the name. I have not myself.
He's a producer, musician. I actually had a little bit of interaction with him in about 20 plus years ago. But he has made a very nice audience for, like, he talks about, like, his first thing that he did was, like, he did these videos called What Makes This Song Great, and he would, like, break down songs and basically say, like, this is cool because of this.
This chord progression works because, yeah.
Yeah. But then, like, more recently, he started talking a lot about the music business. And one of the things that we knew kind of, like, under the surface back then, but really know now, is that it's basically like the mafia. Like, it's a criminal organization. Like, they don't act with any scruples. Oh. It's completely corrupt, political.
Oh, yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And, you know, so this is getting back to the point of, like, so when you have to say, when you say no to those people in that situation, it's not... Right. You know, maybe we didn't know as well as we should have, and that's what gave us the bravery to do it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, like, it's just such a... I think everybody who has, like, the dream of making it in the music business should know what that really is or means.
Be as informed as possible.
Be as informed as possible. And even back then, there was a book that we all read the year we got signed. It was called Hitmen. And it was basically about the history of payola at radio.
Yeah.
And I don't know how familiar you are with that whole history and practice, but, you know, basically, even from the time they were promoting Elvis Presley records, they would, you know, record companies would just go into radio stations with a brown bag of cash and be like, could you please play Love Me Tender? You know, like...
Yeah.
And then eventually that became illegal. So the clever thing that the music industry then started doing was they wouldn't send their record reps into radio stations with bags of money. They would hire these independent radio promoters to kind of launder the money in a way.
For lack of a better word.
And so I guess what that is all to say is that a song that becomes a hit record to the point where it's like ubiquitous in society, that's never organic.
Of course.
It's not because everybody just like discovered something and was like, this is it, this is the greatest thing.
We all like this.
Right. I mean, it's a lot of, you know, palms being greased, as the old saying goes. And, you know, and so I think the farther I got away from that side of the music business, I think that's one of the reasons I'm so content with how I have it now.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, obviously I have the fortunate thing of you know, even though it was like stepping into a den of wolves, I did get to experience it, which is very fortunate. And as I said, I wouldn't trade that in. But like knowing what I know, like I don't think I would encourage anybody to even want to.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like you got to find a way to to have it be more about like the things we've been talking about. Like what's going to make you happy as an artist?
Right.
What's going to you know, allow you to just keep doing it.
Right.
You know,
let the drive still be there.
Yeah. It's very interesting though to think about because it is a very, very weird and, you know, it's like the only business where the business model is just like throw money at everything until the one thing that hits can pay for all the things that fail.
Yeah, right. Huh. Wow.
It's pretty wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
And with that sort of experience that you had with the Caulfields, to then find yourself in another band with Ike and find, again, a little more commercial success, but more localized, would you say? Yeah.
I mean, that's the funny thing is that in a lot of ways, like Ike, as far as like the Philadelphia and surrounding communities, a lot more people know what Into Philadelphia is than Devil's Diary by the Caulfields.
Yeah.
Even though Devil's Diary was like an internationally played song at the time, it also kind of speaks to, it's kind of a weird thing, you know, like Into Philadelphia seems to have grown in its notoriety over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And a big credit to, first of all, WMMR, who first played it, and they've continued to play it.
Yeah.
For 20 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Like Devil's Diary was on the radio for a year, 30 years ago.
A hot year.
Yeah. It was a very hot year, but, so like, it just kind of, it speaks to, maybe like the slow burn mentality of, because it's still a song that I play frequently in whatever format I'm doing.
It's a good song.
Thank you.
It's a really fun song.
And it's very rare that I leave it out of the show because it's just like I actually don't think we played it at Papadelphia because we had such a short set.
Yeah, you didn't.
But, for the most part, it's always in the show.
Yeah. I mean, even with the song itself, to me, I think the reason why it stuck around is because Philadelphia as a community and as a culture has gotten so much more prideful. I think the pride has always been there, but I think especially with the age of social media and the the greater part of the world having a sort of consensus as to what Philadelphia is like.
Well, a lot more people have an opinion about Philadelphia now than they ever did.
Exactly.
Like people that are not from here.
which then makes the people that are from here care even more.
Exactly.
And so, I got to see you all with Ike perform recently in a reunion at Milk Boy, the Milk Boy Chestnut.
That was a special night.
It was so fun. And hearing you guys play that song, truly it felt like the room was just like, yeah, Philadelphia, yeah, like it's just, I love my country Philadelphia. It's like that joke,
which is so interesting to me because, as you might know, that totally was not the motivation behind the song. I mean,
of course,
yeah. Like, I wrote that song as more or less like a lullaby to my then infant son, now 21 years of age.
Yeah,
And I didn't even, honestly, when the album that song is on came out in 2005, I did not even think that was a single.
That was going to be the one.
That was not the one that I would have picked, but luckily for me, smarter person than I am so there used to be a DJ at MMR named Jackson who he came to town maybe the year before. From another market, and immediately became a champion of Philadelphia bands and wanted to do a lot to support Philly music, so they decided they were going to do a compilation CD of local bands. And he heard our album in real life and walked up to me at Grape Street, Philadelphia, which is when the Grape Room was in a different location.
Was it
at
really?
The other end of Main Street. Yeah, for about 4 years.
I didn't know that.
But for about 4 years in the early 2000s, they moved to what became Mad River all the way down the street.
Gotcha.
In Manayunk, so that they could have a bigger venue. So that it was then a 250 person venue.
Oh, wow.
And he walked up to me there and he's like, so I really like your song Into Philadelphia. I think I'm going to put it on the thing. I was like, really? You don't think it should be Just a Moment? He's like, no.
No, this one.
And I was kind of pushing back, and he's like, you're going to want to put this song on the record.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh, all right, whatever you say.
I hear you now.
Thank you for, and thank God he said that.
Yeah.
Because, it became the first track on the CD, and and what the station did was kind of something that they hadn't done in a while. It was they put 2 of the songs into regular rotation. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because unsigned bands don't get that kind of airplay. And so from that point forward, it just sort of never left.
It created a life of its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of getting back to what you were saying about how people kind of take it as a Philly anthem type of thing, a lesson that I learned from that, which I didn't really think about before then, was that once you put a song out into the world, you don't really get to determine like how people take it.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
like it's sort of not yours anymore,
Nope.
and people are gonna use it for whatever they want to use it for.
Mhm.
And if it's to make them feel good about their city, then great.
Then lovely.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time when people bring that song up to me nowadays, it's always like them coming into the city from somewhere else and deliberately like finding the song and playing it. And I think that's just really cool. You know, I mean, it's as a songwriter, you can't ask for much more than something like that. Where, it, you know, if a song becomes part of someone's life in that way, you're really lucky.
Yeah, you've hit it.
Yeah,
you've had the moment.
You've had the moment.
I think that it's honestly a beautiful feeling to let music take a life of its own.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's so influential to how someone's day goes. Like literally, just depending on what you're listening to, that helps you like get to a certain place or helps you through a certain feeling. And having even the opportunity to make something that can then be that for someone else, is so lovely.
It is lovely, and it's something that like, again, like you don't really think about this stuff when you're writing it or recording it or any of that.
No, not at all.
And so I think that is to say that it's like it feels like a real big surprise anytime someone tells you
100%
that is what the impact is. And you know, it really, there's no feeling like that. No. Like no amount of, you know, like that makes up for the fact that it hasn't sold 1 million copies and I'm buying a Lamborghini because of it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like I don't need all that. Like I just need, you know, and it happens honestly frequently enough to where like if I ever like get down on my life or my choices or anything, it's probably going to be like 6 hours before somebody sends me like a screenshot of them driving into the city, or just like, hey, they played this on XPN tonight, or, you know, like I'm very lucky to almost have like a clockwork of validation that keeps me like remembering, oh, I'm pretty lucky to have this life, and don't be a
don't be a
you know,
it's as simple as that.
Don't be a it's pretty simple.
And you clearly haven't been a
you
clearly have.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm sure not everyone would agree.
Maybe not, but I will say
I do try to live by the don't be a credo. I do. I think that that's it, and if that is coming through, then I appreciate that.
Because I feel like, I mean, just like a last little tidbit to like the Philly community and music scene, you yourself have made yourself known here. And whether or not you know, and maybe you do know, but I think I've been able to have so many different conversations with so many different people that are like either grown up in the music scene here or have been in it for a little while, or, you know, work at this music shop or work at this school or whatever. And if you happen to come up in conversation, especially around the time of our Philly Mocha show when we were promoting that, and being able to be like, we're playing with John Faye, like that's gonna be so cool for us, to be able to share a stage with you, first of all, was lovely. I mean, we have before, but in that context,
this was like a whole new level.
Exactly. And people would be like, oh, you know John Faye? And be like, well, yeah, you know John Faye? And they're like, yeah, John Faye did this.
Well,
I learned this.
I think that's really nice to hear. I mean, I do make it a point to be out and about, and
and
you know, and obviously I had like a very long run at both Bluebond and Drexel, where I was interacting with people who would, like yourselves, move on from that experience and do something musical, you know, at many different levels. You know, I mean, a lot of the kids that went to Drexel, like, you know, some of the people from like the guitar player from Hop Along was one of my students. The two of the guys from Modern Baseball, like a lot of these kids went to Drexel and took I'm not saying that I take any credit for anything, but there have been, actually in the past year even, there have been instances of people who took my class there that, I'll be honest, they're not front of mind, because there was a lot of people who went.
Well, of
I
course,
remember
yeah.
everybody from Bluebond, because it was a manageable subset of human beings.
It was a tight-knit
yeah,
group.
But I don't remember everybody from Drexel.
And that's fine.
Which, of course.
That's being a teacher.
Once they remind you, you're like, oh, wow.
Hey there.
And it's happened a few times. And
that's awesome.
And the cool thing is, these people are all in really good bands now.
Yeah, that must feel so awesome.
It really,
so rewarding.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think one of them was actually at the Milk Boy show.
Oh, great.
And it's just kind of cool.
Yeah.
To again, these are not people that I kind of still keep up with, like you and Emmett and Toby.
Yeah.
And so to have them kind of say all these years later, I think the one kid said, so the songwriting class was MUSC 323 at Drexel. And
shout out.
And he said something like, that's the only class I ever took where I still remember the number.
Wow. And that says a lot.
I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Because those numbers are hard to remember.
Yeah. So, that, and again, you don't know the impact of anything until down the line.
For sure.
And so hearing that is it's just really cool. And a lot of the reasons that I have been around, especially back then, they were just kind of like, well, these are jobs that I have.
Yeah, I'm just making money.
It was, it was not an intentional, I'm going to impact people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It was just oh, I can make money teaching this class. And, and I remember the first time I had any interaction with Bluebond was Joanne kind of drafted me into singing a Clash song at a Bluebond show. The first Bluebond show before I taught there.
You just showed up.
She was just just come sing this song. They don't have anybody to sing it.
Really?
And so
That's funny.
It was something off London Calling or something. I was
Yeah.
I love London. Oh, sure.
Happily.
And after that, she was like, so you have any interest in teaching here? I was like, what would I do? And so you probably don't remember this, but I started out primarily as the vocal coach.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
And that was rough. Because, you get a very broad swath of people that are, maybe a little tone deaf.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, you could say it.
Yeah.
You could say it.
And, but the way they, small tangent, big shout out to Mike Coughlin, because
big shout out to
that
Mike
guy. When you think of how many guitar lessons that guy has given over the years with no breaks. So there was probably a 2-year period right when I started at Bluebond where I was giving vocal lessons, and I would work from 11 to 6 on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And they would schedule 14 vocal lessons with no break.
Oh.
Up in the silver room.
Yeah.
Where the boombox was.
The boombox room.
And 14 lessons in a row.
Yeah, that's wild. And they must have not been the same, people... 14 lessons in a row, yeah. 14 different vocalists completely.
Right.
On completely different parts of the spectrum.
Different levels.
Having to adjust yourself
I can't
their
believe
levels.
I did that for 2 years. And
It's
it
impressive.
was at the end of that time where I said to Joanne, I think I'm just gonna explode. I can't do this anymore. And
I'm
so
out.
that is literally when, well, why don't you coach the band program came into,
Oh, there
or
it
be
is.
one of the, I was one of the coaches because I remember like Charlie had
Haim.
some bands, and there was a guy named John who played guitar who had a band or two.
Very briefly,
early on.
yes. Shout out Charlie Haim.
Shout out Charlie Haim.
One of my
Hell
drum
yeah.
teachers as well.
Yes.
Truly
incredible guy.
Yeah, lovely guy.
And so that was how I kind of like made my way into the band program, because I was literally going to just have a mentee be over 14 vocal lessons. And then so I just sort of I kind of like pulled way back on the vocal lessons. But I won't name names on this, but like definitely a few of the people who remained, their lesson time literally became therapy sessions. Like we would get like 25 minutes into the lesson, and I'd be like, "You want to warm up or something?" And it was just them telling me their life problems. Like,
yeah,
but for the price, it was way cheaper.
Exactly, a little cheaper.
I don't have a degree, but I'm a pretty good listener, so
yeah, I will admit that I might have been a culprit of that for Jeff Radaganda a few times. Also, shout out Jeff, my first drum teacher.
Like
sometimes it just happens.
I know it's part of the territory.
Yeah,
but there was definitely one person that was just like, "Okay, you've been doing this for like a year.
Yeah,
we haven't sung a note in a year.
You should look into something else."
I don't know. I mean,
you should.
I don't know.
There's something else I can suggest for you that isn't pretending to sing.
Well, to be completely honest, it was fine by me that it worked out that way.
Well, yes, of course. Hey, of course, yeah. And then Bluebond, yeah,
still going strong. Like I actually, for a time, probably like mostly last year and maybe the year before, I have no affiliation with them officially any longer.
Yeah.
But I still like going over there and loitering.
Yeah, same.
And and I would go to their they've got a new really good adult band program.
Yes,
no kids anymore.
No kids anymore. Right out the door.
They just flipped the script. So it was all adults, but our friend Sean Slattery was running the band program for a while, and so I would just go to the student concerts and be the light guy.
Yeah, nice.
That was my night out. It's like, I'm just gonna go run lights at this Bluebond show.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to them, and I mean, yeah, literally so incredibly formative, and so many lovely people came out of there too. I mean, the amount of friends that I've made. Literally the show that the Jet Planes just played. We played a show at Repo Records for our album. And our opening band, we were so lucky to be able to have Heshmesh, which is Harry Feinberg and Colin McElhenney's group.
I love those guys.
Yeah, Colin McElhenney, Harry Feinberg, the two of them, and their friend Dan are, I mean, now they're up in Berkeley.
Wow.
Just absolutely,
amazing.
Being Berkeley students.
Wow.
And their music is so awesome. And to be able to share a stage with them again was just like such a lovely reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for you guys to have that connection, that's great. That's super cool. Those two, very interesting guys as well.
Oh, 100%.
Always enjoyed their band stuff. As well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. We've seen the Schaefer twins on occasion here and there. Nick and Chuck.
Right on.
Yeah. Still stay in touch with Stefano. Stefano and Kristen. We love the two of them. Yeah, it's been really nice to have like that sense of community still, even after having been a part from it from so long. And they let us film a music video in their new spot like way early on. They were like, "Do you want our stage?"
You know, I do have to say, and this is on a very sad tip, that we have lost two of our students over the years.
Yeah.
And I literally just last week found out about Savvy Lee.
Oh.
Do you remember her?
I do.
Yeah, she passed away. There's going to be a memorial for her at Old Swedes in September.
Oh.
So I'm definitely going to go to that.
Of course. Please. Yeah.
But, she and, Brendan Arata passed away. And, that's such a it's such a sad thing, obviously, but you know, having been in the position to work with them as their band instructor, like, you know, when I communicate with their parents,
Mm.
you know, they all say like, you know, some of their greatest memories are of them being part of the Bluebond
Yeah.
community, and you know, like, it really just kind of like puts everything in perspective as to like how important and valuable like those connections are.
Those connections
You know.
and education. Like
Yeah.
getting musical education
Mm-hmm.
and being able to find community and self-worth in something that especially now is harder to come by.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so pivotal and so important.
You know what I think is cool about Bluebond too, is that I mean, I've had occasion to like be exposed to other rock schools, you know, like
School of Rock.
School of Rock, and
Yeah.
you know, there's other situations as well, and you go in there and you you compare the very nice facilities that they have to what you guys played in
Yeah.
all those years, and like Bluebond is a very quintessentially like Center City, Philadelphia thing.
Yep.
You know, it's not like, you know, the cushy suburban schools of rock that just
Yeah.
have like the nicest amps and, you know, like all this.
Lovely amps, guitars on rent. You take them on tour. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bluebond had a grit to it that I would not trade for anything.
Absolutely. I loved brushing off dust on the drum stool. That was such a specific part of it, and I was
Yeah.
very happy with that.
And how did you enjoy playing on those electronic drums every week?
Every week, I think I still own a few pairs of drumsticks that are completely like black on the tip because of the rubber of the pads.
Oh my god, that's
like,
great.
And then because of that, every time I would then play on a different drum kit,
Right.
they would then become stained
Right.
on the heads of the drums.
You took the mark of Bluebond and transferred it to someone else's lovely drum head.
Yep, Emmett's. Emmett's drum heads.
Emmett's drum head.
And
Why
many,
are these
many others.
black?
Yeah, I would be confused by it. I'd be like, "What?" But no, it was that terrible, terrible electronic set. But it got us through.
It did.
It got us through. I still learned on it.
Yeah.
I still knew how to do accents and
Mm-hmm.
all the things that were pivotal to the time.
Indeed.
That I had no idea how to do.
Yeah.
Would you say that there was I mean, because you fell into a position of education, pivotal one at that. Would you say that there was like ever a bit of you that was like, I do want to teach at some point?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
There was absolutely no bone in my body that ever thought that I would, because first of all, most of the time, I mean, obviously, like, teaching at Bluebond is one thing, but, like, to get a job in higher education, like, you would need a degree related to that, which I totally don't have.
Don't have a degree.
I mean, I have an English degree.
Of course.
But I don't have a degree in music. But the thing about Drexel and a lot of universities that have, like, a music industry program, like, their emphasis is very much on real world practitioners of whatever the subject is. And again, like, this is it sounds funny, but it's like, if I was to be honest, like, almost nothing good that's ever happened to me was because I was like deliberately trying to make it happen.
And that's called honesty.
I mean, it's the truth. You know, the Drexel job came up because the head of the program had been familiar with my music.
Yeah.
And she herself was the songwriting teacher for years.
Gotcha.
But then, you know, being like a department head, like, she just didn't want to do it anymore. So she literally approached me at World Cafe Live. I didn't really know who she was, but she knew me. And she was like, "You're John Faye." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Who wants to know, sweetheart?" And
nice to meet you.
And she was like, "How would you like to teach songwriting at Drexel University?" and without even thinking about it, I was like, sure.
Yeah.
I kind of almost thought she was bluffing or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next thing I knew, I was she handed me like her course materials, which was like these 2 gigantic binders just filled with stuff. And as you may know, Drexel works on the quarter system.
Yes, they do. My father has been a long-time professor there, so
yes,
I'm aware of how stupid that is.
So it's 10 weeks.
Yeah.
It's very intensive.
Very.
And I'm like, how did you teach all this in 10 weeks?
Oof.
And I was like, do I have to do it this way? And she was like, no, I'm just giving you these. You do it like, she just gave me like carte blanche.
Wow.
To just teach it however I wanted.
That's
so
really cool.
It was cool, but then I was like, okay, well now I have to figure out what to do.
Yeah, then
and so over the course of 16 years, it was like a constant like like I never once was like, nailed it. Just do that again next term.
Figured it out.
It was always like, yeah, that wasn't so great. I'm going to have to do like it was
Tweaking,
constantly being tweaked.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it ever like, got to like any kind of level where I would be like, publish that, put that out there as a course, but
would it have ever?
I don't know.
Like,
I doubt it. But, it was just like one of those things where I guess the moral is say yes to life.
Oh yeah.
And
totally.
And, you figure it out once you're kind of in the situation, which I did. And to be honest with you, like, it's been really wonderful. Like a number of the kids who were there, like the first year I taught it, are now my friends.
Yeah.
They're like 40 now.
Ah,
and
yes.
they're having kids and they're married and they're this and that. And and a lot of them are still playing. And it's just like again, like you don't anticipate that at the time. And then a couple decades go by and you're like, wow, it's really cool that like you have this relationship with people and they value what you offered to their education and that kind of thing. And that to me is like one of the nicest things about my life. And it's one of the things that if I look at it, I'm like, if things had gone differently when I was on A&M Records and I was like more of a quote-unquote star or whatever, I would not have taught 16 years teaching songwriting at some university. And I wouldn't have had that connection with people. I would just, I don't know what I would be doing. I'm sure, I think my general outlook on life is that I make the best out of whatever is in front of me. And so, like, I'm sure that, I'm not saying like my life would have been horrible, but it would have been very different. And you only know what you know, and what I know about my life, I wouldn't trade. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's one of those things where the circumstances of one's life are, you're going to be like thrown for a loop every so often, and you have to figure out a way to adapt to whatever's happening. And you do your best, and you try to, stay focused on what's going to make you fulfilled, I guess.
For sure.
Is the idea.
Yeah. And with feeling fulfilled, I would love to talk a little bit about your current musical endeavors.
Sure.
With the album you just came out with, The Long Game. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
As a solo artist, with help from others, of course, or not. With the
recording.
The recording live, yes.
I didn't have a ton of most of that record was made at home by me.
Oh, awesome.
But there's definitely a couple tracks that have my mixer / mastering engineer Ron DiSilvestro is also a great drummer, and
cool.
He did play drums on 2 of the songs, but the rest of the stuff is all me working in Logic. And I kind of like right around, I guess just before the pandemic, it's like, yay, you get a new MacBook Pro and you can get Logic and Final Cut for like $100 more, and and I'm like, I'll it, and I really was never like a Logic guy. I always used to work in Pro Tools, and I was, kind of like very reluctant to like try to record in Logic. But then as soon as I'll tell you what sold me, the automatic crossfade.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't even have to do this.
It's automatic.
It just happens. And so I was like, I'm going to just try to do a song in Logic and program the drums. And, got a few pointers from some people that had done it before, and they were like, it's all about the velocity, man. Like, if you want it to, if you want it to be, like, more real sounding,
of course.
And I'm sure you've worked with it.
I have.
As well, and it was just like a really fun challenge to try to do a song where somebody wouldn't listen to it and automatically be like, those aren't real drums. And so I started to work on some stuff, and like the first couple of songs that I worked on, like I really took a very kitchen sink approach. Like I was like, oh, what kind of like weird noises can we add
so cool.
and do this, and but they still ended up sounding like songs by me.
Yep.
And
I can attest. Yeah.
So I was like, I could make an album like this.
Yeah.
Like I have done. So my solo album from 2015, Meddling Kid, was also done almost 100% by me, but in a studio. So I was playing real drums, and I was like, everything was like in a recording. It was Philly sound, and it's no longer there, but
Gotcha.
The church in South Philly.
Yes.
And so I was used to like not go like making records with a full band anymore. And I just kind of like really got into the idea of like home recording.
Yeah.
And I really super enjoy it. Like I had a few singles before this full album came out, like from 2021 on. A couple of them are like collaborations, and they were all stuff that I just did at home.
That's so sick.
And I really I just like it. I mean, it's not that I wouldn't go in and record with a band, but there's just something like very immediate and satisfying about like, well, I don't have to schedule any time. I can just do this now. Yeah. And
you just do it now. You don't have to worry about other people.
And like all of the stuff in it is so good now. Like even the like, I mean, I will say like the electric guitar amp simulators. There's only like 4 that I think are any good, but but if you use them well, I mean, it's like they've got a Vox AC30-ish amp and a Marshall-ish amp and an Orange-ish amp and a Fender-ish amp-ish, and they're all pretty good. Yeah. And like if you know how to like layer things, and so it's almost like it's a little game for me to like try to create something that sounds like I spent money on it.
And you succeeded.
Yeah.
Because the album absolutely sounds like that.
Thank you. Well, I will say the part that I did spend money on was the mixing.
Well, of course.
That to me, you gotta do. If you're gonna
if
you're gonna record in Logic, you have to like So I had it mixed at Studio 4 in Conshohocken, which is for those who aren't familiar with it, it's like a legendary Philly studio.
Yes, it is.
Philly area studio. And they have this really great, I don't know if 80s is vintage, I guess it is now. Like an 80s like SSL console.
Oh, cool.
That when you run your tracks through it, like people who maybe don't like get intimately involved with record making might not really appreciate this, but like when you run your tracks through a board like that, there's something that happens, and I don't want to get into like the wonky nerdy aspect of it, but essentially like there's like this I guess what they call like analog distortion thing that happens where it makes it sound like a record. Literally.
Yeah, it just immediately sounds like, oh, this is music.
Yeah. and so like just for me, like the satisfaction of like This record is completely homemade.
Hey.
and the hi-hat is me playing brushes on one of my frying pans.
Oh,
and
sick. That's so dope.
And it's running through this $20,000 board. It's probably more than, it's probably like a $50,000 board.
Yeah.
And like, but then, at the other end of it, like once it's mixed and they have a great mastering chain there too,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you can make a record that used to cost probably $15,000.
Yep.
And that's on the low end.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have made records, and the Caulfields records, it's embarrassing to say now, the first one cost $140,000.
Whoa.
And it's a good record. It sounds really good.
Of
it
course.
was done in like the most prestigious places available, but like to be able to like make a comparable record now for a fraction of the cost,
of course,
is pretty satisfying.
Satisfying and such a testament to where music is now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an anti-technology person. Like, I think you should just use it to your benefit. And,
of course,
like, I've really thoroughly enjoyed the challenge of making, like, rock music in Logic. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, a lot of people use, like, the current DAWs for electronic-based music, which is a whole different animal. But, like, to make something that sounds like you went into a studio with a band and did it, that's kind of a cool thing for
Absolutely.
me. Yeah.
I would also love to dive a little bit into your songwriting.
Sure.
Especially with this album, which I love. My favorite song, personally, that I cannot ever get out of my head is Something Divine. I really like that song.
I really am glad you like that
That is a really, really fun one. And getting to hear you guys play that live was dope. The whole set you played, I will say, also, to the testament of, like, you recording this all on your own and with your own things at home, translates really well live with a band.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that the reason it translates well is that, my songwriting is pretty traditional at the core. It's, melody based around chord progressions I find are interesting, and that's basically the crux of it. So I because I have Joey DiTullio in my band more often than not.
Shout out Joey.
I mean, the guy is just like, you couldn't ask more of another musician to just be like that person that just does it all.
Yeah.
Like I love harmonizing with him. Like, he's like my favorite person to sing with.
Truly, side tangent, I fully fell in love with Joey that night.
Yeah.
100%. I couldn't help myself. Like, his stage presence.
He's special.
His hair.
It's the whole thing. It's like
his musical talent.
It's very interesting.
Crazy.
Because I started playing with him on stage when he was roughly 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so it hasn't been a solid 10 years. There was a couple of years, like pandemic years and stuff, like we didn't do a lot together. But like, for the most part, like, he's been my right-hand man for that period of time. So there's like a chemistry and a shorthand that are just like really solid there, which is obviously quite interesting because he's so young.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, he makes anything he's involved with better. He elevates it, no matter what he's doing. But there is something special about how we sing together. And I think that when you have that, like, that in and of itself is going to go a long way,
of course,
towards making material come across in a live setting, But getting back to Something Divine, like, I had the best time recording that song because it was.
You could tell.
It was just like, kind of like it's just like your laptop becomes like a little playground.
Yeah.
In a way, like, Joey actually did play the guitar solo on that. I was like, I'm not going to play the guitar solo on this. So, but it was all like, I just sent him the track. He recorded it at home, sent me the track back. Like, we were never in the same room.
Yeah.
But like, just like little things, like messing around with, like in the intro of that song, for example, there's like an acoustic guitar that I really wanted to sound like very kind of like percussive and chimey, and I just like strumming it wasn't cutting it. So I was actually had a couple days when I was house sitting at a friend's house in Delaware, and I had my rig with me. I was like, I'm gonna be productive while I'm here. I'm gonna do something. So I recorded the acoustic guitar using like a remote control at my friend's house, where I just went like bang 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 bang, and that gave it that kind of like pinky kind of sound. I was like, that's it. Bing, 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 bing. And so
That's awesome.
So it's like these are like little experiments that, in my opinion, don't happen as often in a studio where you're paying an hourly rate. It's like, don't dick around with a remote control. Time is money here.
Time is money.
You know, but like when you're at home and you can, one of the things that I kind of like about recording in solitude is that, I'm not self-conscious at all about doing whatever it takes to make something work. So, I ended up, a lot of things, especially when it comes to like the guitar playing, it takes a lot of takes.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure that if I had an engineer, I'm like, it's the 50th time you're doing this. Like, it's just, the vibe is just going to be off. But if you're just there, you're like, no,
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah. And so that's just another example of like why it's fun to do that stuff. But here's the little secret that I've only told a few people, but I will go public with. So on that song in particular, and on, I would say, over 50% of the songs on The Long Game, the bass is not actually a bass guitar. It starts with me vocalizing what I think the bass line should be into a microphone, recording it, then putting it into flex pitch.
Whoa.
What happens when you put a audio track into flex pitch is that it analyzes all the transients, and it gives you like a window where it's all like, it's almost like similar to Melodyne for vocals.
Right, yeah.
So when you have that, there's a little thing you can click on that says like turn flex pitch data into MIDI.
Okay.
So you make a MIDI like track of what you just did. It's literally a mess, but it has all of your inflections and ideas. So you can then put a bass guitar plug-in into that, and then it takes a lot of tweaking because it doesn't really pick up the pitch that accurately, but it picks up the nuance and the velocity of the notes. So what you can do is take like 3 hours and go through and literally craft the bass line. And it's, the reason I like it is because I can do stuff that I'm not that great of a bass player. Like, I can't play that part, but I can hum it and I can conceptualize it.
Yeah.
So for a lot of the songs, that's the bass.
That's so cool.
It's pretty wild because it's like, man, this bass line is rocking. I can't play that.
Nice job, John.
I mean, there's definitely songs where I played real bass and it's fine, but like the songs with like the really bad bass lines are the ones that I hummed.
Whoa! And you would never be able to tell. Truly.
No, there's not a soul in the world that would think that that's not real bass.
That's fascinating.
And that's kind of the cool. It's like almost like, again, I'm like, this is how much can I get away with in Logic?
A little bit of a challenge.
That I'm, like I just really enjoy that aspect of it, and honestly, it's opened up my creativity because I'm not just thinking in the two guitars, bass and drum rock band tunnel vision. I mean, it ends up sounding like a rock band, but there's other little colors in there that probably wouldn't happen if it was, one of my bands in a room and just doing our thing, And so it's taught me a lot about like song arrangement and recording and stuff like that. It's a lot of times I'll end up tracking more stuff than I eventually use. I'm like, all right, what can I take away that's actually going to make this cooler or make this come out more? And so it's a lot less of, like for example, like I listened to some old Ike records recently, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just kind of like barreling through. I'm just like playing the chords, and it wasn't as much thought into like, maybe I should just drop out. You don't have to be playing every second, for it to be effective. It's like, let something else breathe. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I like my current record a lot, is that there's definitely a lot of thought that went into, well, each section of each song has its own kind of color. And it's not all the same tones throughout the entire song.
Yeah.
Now, I don't do any of that on stage. I am barreling through on stage. Because it's a different thing. It's a
completely different game.
It's a different experience for people. Like, for me, like, live is all about energy and the essential oils of the song, which is like, are you singing it good? Is it rocking? That's pretty much it. That's the secret. And that's what I choose to emphasize. And obviously, like, the people that I surround myself on stage with are people that I trust a lot.
Yeah, clearly.
It was really interesting. Like, the Philomoka show was not supposed to be like this big gang of everybody and like 2 female backup singers and all that.
Yeah, you had a whole entourage.
It was an entourage that, well, shout out Ange Boca, because she basically just said, like, a month before, she's like, literally texted me and said, listen, I need some stage time. Put me on one of your shows. I'll sing backups.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I'm not saying no to that.
Yeah.
So she was going to be part of the show. And then Aaron Fox, who I have that new single, Swingin' a Miss, with.
Yes, you do.
Originally, she was just literally going to come up and play that one song, and that was it.
Promo.
And like 2 hours before the show, Ange pulls her aside at the Crown Fried Chicken that we're all hanging out at, and she's like, and she walks up to me, she's like, yeah, she's going to be on stage for the whole show. She's just going to do her.
Oh, man.
And to be honest with you, like, how could that not make a band cooler?
Oh, 100%.
To have these 2 awesome women up there just basically, like, singing backups and, like, being, like, the, what do you call it? Like, the hype man.
Yeah, hype man, cheerleading the crowd.
Like, and I was like, all I got to do is stand here and sing now.
Yeah.
Like, it's all taken care of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool. Look, if I had the resources, sure, I would have put a band up like that up there every night, but like, you got to be realistic sometimes. But that was a really wonderful night. Like, I had the best time, and it was very cool to do a show with all of these sort of like-minded groups.
Yeah.
But all different from each other at the same time.
No doubt.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, getting an opportunity to just see the age span, and the experience span, and like across the board, just all different ways of the music life, and then yet still, band after band, you could tell, like, oh, this is why you're all in a show together.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I mean, again, Jim McGuinn was like very big on like, this is a multi-generational show. I love it.
Yeah.
And it was really cool, because I think at the core of it, it speaks to like the style of music that all of us are generally attracted to is timeless. And that's why people your age are playing it. That's why people our age are playing it. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool.
It is.
That's really kind of an interesting thing to realize, Mm-hmm. It was fun.
Yeah. Would you say that from like a songwriting standpoint and a, genre standpoint, that this new record, being your 16th release,
yeah,
yes, you're still clearly learning about yourself as a musician through this and what you like to play. Have you with this record do you think you're like, oh, I've found where I love to live right now musically, or is there still a pie in the sky of like, still haven't found it yet, still want to try some more stuff?
I think that I'm very happy with the record.
Yeah.
But that is not to say that the next record I make is going to be anything like it.
Yeah.
You know, like I am, one of the things that I enjoy as an older musician in a 2025 world is that genre is not as confining of a thing as it used to be.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, back in, maybe when I was starting out, it's like you had to sort of like plant your flag in something and stand by it, because that was kind of a thing that you were judged on. And I don't know if it's the times or just the way people consume music or the mentality of your generation, which is the dominant taste-making thing out there.
Yeah.
It seems to just be generally like you don't, there's not a judgmental thing that goes on as much. It's like, like gatekeeping is frowned upon. And it's explicitly stated a lot. Like, yes, don't gatekeep, And that is something that I always kind of wanted to happen, but wasn't living in a world like that. Like, I have a very good friend who went to college with me. We were both huge music fans. He was not a musician, but he had a radio show. Mm-hmm. And something that we always agreed on is, like, the whole concept of a guilty pleasure is a fallacy. Mm. You shouldn't feel guilty for liking anything.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's such a good point.
Like,
I never considered that.
Just because, I don't know what a good example would, don't be ashamed to like Dancing Queen.
Yeah. Right.
It's arguably one of the best written songs ever.
It's a really great song.
But anybody who flat out says that they like it is gonna probably hedge their statement a little bit, like, oh, it's a guilty pleasure.
It's just a good. Don't worry about it. Like,
right. This isn't who I am.
It's just a one playlist.
It's like, I'm not a freak. Like, I'm not weird. And so, like, I just feel like that gives you, in today's atmosphere, like, you kind of have license to just be what you want and play what you want. And, it's, I guess, in like a bigger mainstream way, that's what has allowed, like bigger name artists to like genre hop.
Yeah, right.
And so it's not, like, I kind of look at like the long game as being a good example of like the breadth of what I like to do. Mm-hmm. Because I always have had like a softer singer-songwriter-y side to me, but that doesn't mean that I don't have some aggression to get out also,
Yeah.
And everything kind of in between. And so I will say, as I've already been writing like the next batch of songs that will probably comprise the next record.
Awesome.
And they're literally all over the map. Like, a couple of them, I would say, very political. A couple of them are just kind of fun.
Political,
like
fun.
Like just rock songs that I like to do and feel that
tunes.
I, have a sensibility for. And, it's going to be all over the place, and I'm okay with that. Because as the more music that I write and make, the through line is that it's me. Mm-hmm. And, anybody who has like a strong sense of who, quote unquote, me is in themselves, I think that is a pretty good indicator that no matter where they go musically, it's going to come across as being authentically them.
Yep.
Like, there's definitely been periods in my musical life when, especially if you're in a band,
Yeah.
And you write a song, and somebody could very easily say like, that's not us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why the hell isn't it us? We're doing it.
Yeah, explain to
We
me.
wrote it, or I wrote it.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
I'm part of this, thus making this
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
So, so I think that the sort of the dissipation of that kind of mentality is actually very positive.
Yeah.
It's because it just allows for you to just be more free with your creativity. I mean, look, I can say that as somebody that doesn't have like a million people like holding their breath about what I do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like anytime there's external pressure or commercial expectation or that kind of thing, of course that may influence something. But this is what it is to be in the position that I'm in. Like I feel really lucky that I have enough people that care about what I do to make it certainly validating and even a living at doing it. But, it's not so many people that I feel like I, can't do what I want. I'm very willing to let people down.
Hell yeah.
And
that's what it's all about. Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you gotta, I think if you cultivate an audience, you have to be willing to like take them where you're gonna go.
Not let them guide you.
Not the other way around.
Yeah.
That's one of the, I don't know if you'd call it a benefit, but that's just part and parcel of like being an artist.
Yeah.
Like you have to go where your mind and your heart tell you need to go in terms of creating something. And if people like it, great.
They'll follow along.
If they don't like it, then sorry.
My B.
Yeah, like
yeah.
It's just rock and roll, man.
It's rock and roll, man. And if you like that rock and roll, go stream The Long Game everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Although a lot of my friends are pulling their stuff off Spotify.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Very fair. It's something that's been on my mind.
Okay, well,
but for now, it's there.
For now, it's there. I'd love to pivot a little bit.
Sure.
This is a question I ask everybody on the pod.
Okay.
To me, I think it gives me everything I need to know. Whether or not I've seen it, it's something that I will then watch and then learn about the person. I think it informs, especially depending on when you've seen it, it informs your humor and your like social style and everything in that regard. So, what's your favorite movie? Right off the dome.
Ooh, right off the dome.
First one, because there was one.
Well, I'm gonna say Gregory's Girl. You ever seen it?
Girl. I have not.
It's Scottish.
Is it?
It's a coming-of-age Scottish film that I saw as a teenager. I think it came out in 1980 or 81. And again, you asked off the top of my dome. It's part of a collection of movies that I love a lot. But like, to me, it's one of those movies that it really informed like my sense of humor, and the characters are the age that I was, although they're all obviously played by adults.
Yeah, of course.
But
80s.
But it's kind of like a movie that is very sweet at its heart, and the whole idea of coming of age has always interested me, because I kind of felt that in some ways I had to do that earlier than I normally would have, because my father passed away when I was so young.
Right.
And so just the idea of like going through changes, and it's I don't really know if I can speak too intelligently about it. because it's just one of those movies that I just loved from the first time I saw it, and it was one of those things where I guess we had HBO at the time, and they literally like showed it like every other day.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like
Just in a rotation.
yeah. I mean, obviously now like you can stream anything on demand anytime.
Yeah.
But then it's like they had a schedule, and the movie would just be shown like very frequently, and every time it was on, I must have watched it like 20 times, like one summer when it was on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just and I've always liked, like, I'm a bit of a European-ophile, like I love British humor, and this was sort of Scottish humor. It kind of seemed like an offshoot of like the Monty Python stuff that I was into.
Yeah, totally.
At the time, and it was. I recommend that you check it out.
I like 100% will.
It is really, really fun and funny, and there will be like quotes from it that you like. I still say. All right, so I'll give you a little example.
Please.
Because I still know it by
Hit
heart.
Me.
So, Gregory, who is like this gangly, awkward teenage kid, has this, him and his friend Andy, and they look really Scottish. They look like they're in the Bay City Rollers or something, you know?
Gotcha.
And they're in the lunchroom at school, and they're watching these girls eat lunch, and they're trying to like figure out like how to like talk to girls.
Mm-hmm.
He says, he walks up to this girl who's eating lunch, and he's like, "Oh, is that the veal?" Or no, he's like, "Oh, how's their beef?" And she's like, "It's veal." And he's like, "Oh, do you know how they make veal? They take the little baby calves and they hang them upside down, and then they slit their throats and let the blood drip out. It's very interesting, isn't it?" And then the girls are obviously very repulsed.
Of course.
And they take their trays and walk away. And it's that kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
that now that you say that makes total sense.
Yeah, and
for your humor,
there's just so many like little things in it.
That's awesome.
And for rock nerds, one of the characters is played by this girl named Claire Grogan, who at the time was the lead singer of a group called Altered Images, which had a song called Happy Birthday. If you look it up, it was a big hit back then. So there was just all these elements to it that I loved. And it's formative when you see something at that age.
Yeah.
You just kind of carry it.
It matters.
With you.
It sticks with you.
I mean, that and The Godfather.
And The Godfather.
Which is a much more common favorite movie, but like I definitely I would put Gregory's Girl up against anything.
Awesome. I will absolutely watch that.
Yeah, you should.
Everyone else, go give a watch to Gregory's Girl.
Yeah.
And you get to know a little bit more about our friend John Faye here.
Yeah, you'll see deep inside my sensibilities.
Speaking of coming of age,
yeah,
you wrote a book.
I did.
Very recently.
Yeah, it came out actually in 2023.
Yes.
It's called The Yin and the Yang of It All. And it is a memoir about my life and sort of coming into my voice as an individual through music.
Yeah.
And so it's got a lot of recollections about my early years in terms of like how music was part of my life and how it became like a central part of my life. But it also has like rock and roll road stories and that kind of thing. But the basic arc of it is that I truly found out who I am because of my involvement with music.
Yeah.
And in a lot of the chapters, it sort of gives the stories that become some of the songs that I think are like very kind of key to my journey as a songwriter and that kind of thing. I'm actually, interestingly, doing a show based on the book.
I saw that.
In August. I don't know when this is coming out, but August 23rd, I'm doing a show at Fat Lady Brewing in Manayunk, which is going to be so it's a songs and stories format that I've done a lot in like educational spaces,
Mm-hmm.
but don't do a lot in public performance spaces. And it's going to be really cool because this is the first time so normally it's storytelling set to music. So normally Joey DiTullio is playing like acoustic guitar, like interesting music beds underneath me telling stories from the book.
For sure.
But this time we not only have him, but we have a cello player.
Ooh.
That's going to be also part of the accompaniment. So
that's
pretty
awesome.
excited. Andrea Weber is going to be playing cello.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm trying to do as much of that kind of thing as I can.
For sure.
It's really become like a pretty pivotal part of how I perform. Like I do a lot of, I mean, I'd like to do more, but this year so far I've done like 4 schools where I'll go in and the auditorium will just have like the whole student body and we do this little show and it's been great. We did Friends Select earlier this year.
Oh, cool.
And we did the Crefeld School.
Nice.
And gonna do a school in Delaware in November, the Tower Hill School. So it's gonna be it continues to give me an opportunity to share the book.
Yeah.
In a way that is not your typical like go to the bookstore and sit behind a table and sign books. You know, like I'm giving people like a show based on the book.
Yeah.
That tends to pique their interest in reading the book if they haven't already.
Which then stays true to you finding yourself in performance also.
Correct.
That is brilliant.
It all
wraps together.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, congrats on the book.
Thank you.
And to everyone else, please go check it out. Where can they? I mean, #1 Amazon bestseller.
Yes, so you
congrats on that.
you can get it there. You can also get it at johnfaye.com if you want a signed copy.
Yes, and to directly
yes
help you.
Yes, it directly helps me. And I believe they have a copy or 2 at South Street Art Mart.
Oh, dope. Yeah.
And also the Barnes & Noble in Center City carries it.
I have seen it there.
Yeah.
I have seen it there. I got really excited. I was with some friends. I was doing some shopping. I was like,
there you go.
Guys, look. I know him.
So it is fairly widely available.
Yay. Oh, that's so lovely. Well, yes, congrats.
Thanks for mentioning that. It's been a big part of how I've sort of lived my creative life the past many years. It took from 2017 to 2022 to write it.
Hey, yeah.
So 5 years to write it,
wow.
And then a year of editing and all that back end stuff.
Yep.
In order to get it ready to be published.
Ugh.
So
did changes happen to it as like, well, obviously editing changes, but like as you were living more life, were you able to be like,
well,
do I want to add more?
I had a definite start and end point in mind when I began writing it.
Great, of course.
So it was really the material of the book ends the year my mother passes away, which is 2012.
Right.
So it's really, I mean, not to be morbid, but it's bookended by the passing of both my parents. My father very early on, and then my mother in 2012. I thought that would make a reasonable kind of like way to contain it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, you could write about anything like beyond that, but like I kind of felt like the message that I wanted to put across is, the reason I called it the yin and the yang of it all is because I really feel that all of the good experiences that I've had, and there have obviously been many, which we have talked about in this conversation, they're all kind of balanced out by the experiences that have been challenging or flat out tragic.
Yeah.
But you have to accept it as a whole. Like, I don't try to sweep anything bad that's happened in my life under the rug, because I've come to the understanding that this is what makes all this other good stuff like all the more sweet to experience.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what I want, the gist I wanted to get across. And, you know, I mean, to, so the book, not to, spoiler alert or whatever.
Spoiler alert.
We know kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
These are events that have happened. But, like, the last thing that I kind of talk about in the book is, you know, like, at my mother's memorial service after she passed away, which they call a celebration of life these days.
Yes, they do.
I honestly, at the time, was not down with that term because I was still so raw about what had happened. I was like, there's not a celebration. Like, everybody needs to be sad, you know?
Yeah.
I've obviously come to accept that much more readily now. But when my sisters basically planned this get together out in Oregon where my mom had been living, and they were like, well, what are you going to say? Like, you need to get up and do something. And I was like, I mean, I can say something, but it would be better if I sang something. So, like, to me, like, the biggest part of, like, I did say things, but the biggest part of my tribute to my mom was singing her favorite song, which was Sunshine on My Shoulders by John Denver.
Wow.
Truly not a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a little kid, I was so, like, not down with her liking that song. And so, like, to come full circle and not only sing it in her memory, but, like, it was like, it was like the weirdest thing. Like, I sang it essentially a cappella, but with an acoustic guitar, just kind of like playing like bass notes to make sure I just stayed in the key. That was my performance of the song. But to kind of have that full circle moment where, like, I understood, you know, like, when you're in a different headspace, you're like, the song's so cheesy, so corny, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And when you really listen to it, like, it was so, like, quintessential of my mom, like, what she cared about and what she loved. Like, she was, like, down with the simple stuff, you know? So, like, literally having, like, the sun shining and it just being nice out, like, that's all she needed to, like, appreciate a day, you know what I mean? And to kind of get, like, it takes, honestly, like, work for a human being to get to that point.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to just, like, get down to the pure simplicity of what you can appreciate about being alive. And so when I sang that song, and I think I say this in the book, like, kind of flat out, I was like, after I sang that song, I felt like my voice was complete. Because it had been a whole journey to find it and, you know, nurture it, learn how to use it. And in singing this song, like, unironically in her memory, was it gave me this moment of clarity that is just unparalleled in my life. It's like, okay, well, from here on out, I kind of have a real good sense of, like, what I'm about and what I'm gonna strive for and appreciate.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That's beautiful. That's such a lovely capstone to that sort of journey. Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously, like, taking all those years to, like, look inward and write that book, clearly cathartic and therapeutic and all those things. And you know, I honestly feel like, aside from just the satisfaction of the accomplishment of writing a 420-page book, it's also just, like, such a relief to kind of come out of that experience, like, kind of knowing myself better.
Yeah.
And understanding the circumstances of my entire life better.
As you're literally looking at it.
Yeah.
Written out.
You know, because you can't write about it unless you're willing to, like, go into the sometimes dark underbelly of what has happened.
Yeah.
You know, and so it took a lot of years, but I'm glad I did it.
Awesome.
You know, I mean, it's an experience that I think. I mean, I'm not saying like everybody go out and write a book, but like even on a small level, if you can examine some things in your life that maybe you are craving closure for, or some kind of sense of like making sense of it,
yeah,
like writing about it is a great way to do it.
Hmm.
You know, because you're really confronting things that, you know, we very often, you know, because our world is so fast paced, and, you know, society tells you just like, you know, shove it deep down.
Put it away.
Just put it over there, you know, and
go to work.
Right. Like, just be a good capitalist, you know, like.
Yeah. Give us money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, it felt like a very, almost like a self-care kind of maneuver.
Of course.
To be like, I'm just gonna like do this thing for the next. I mean, I didn't know how many years it would take.
Well,
and
yeah.
The fact of the matter was, in 2020 or 2021 rather, I was not anywhere near being done,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really kind of getting me down. And then with the pandemic stuff and like teaching online,
Oh yeah.
that was really the catalyst for me to say, you know what, I'm gonna quit Drexel. I quit.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna just focus on. And within a year, the book was done. So I was like at 55% done before I quit the job, and then it took one more year to just be like, okay, done, because I can focus on it.
Wow.
And it was obviously it's a financial risk to like quit a job.
Yeah.
And not take on another job. But, you know, I mean, I luckily was in a position where like I wasn't gonna like you know, get evicted or anything.
Yeah.
Like I had enough tucked away to be able to survive and do what I had to do. But yeah, I mean,
clearly a worthwhile risk.
It was definitely. I have like zero regrets.
Awesome.
Like everybody's always at like, do you want to go back? Like,
yeah,
no,
no, thank you.
I mean, there's something to be said for like knowing when it's time to move on from something.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Well, go read John's book. The yin and the yang of
go
it all.
Forth.
Go forth. And thank you for sharing. Yeah.
My pleasure.
I'd love to know what's next for John Faye. You know, we talked about your most recent releases and your past and your journey here. I would love to now take a moment and either celebrate or talk about
I mean,
what you got going on.
Thank you. You know, I haven't put a ton of like big picture thought into a lot of it. Like I feel like I'm still kind of in the mode of sort of taking what I want to do with the book further.
Right.
So that's definitely a goal, is to just be able to get more opportunities to share my story in whatever situation. I mean, primarily schools, but like maybe more public performances and that kind of thing. But I also am very, like, I feel like we're in a period of time right now where, as musicians, like, we need to sort of, like, reflect what's happening a little more.
A little more, yeah.
And so I am excited to kind of get back into the mode of continuing to write new songs and record those that I kind of have ready to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to, you know, I mean, a lot of people, when I put the book out and it obviously did well, they were like, so is this what you do now? You're an author? And I'm like, I don't know that I have like another full book like that. Like,
probably,
it was never my goal to like, okay, I write books now. Like,
get ready for the 5-part series.
Like, if I took another 6 or 7 years of my life to write another book, like, I would, you know, I mean, I'm getting up there, dude. Like you got to start doing the math and start being like, all right, well, what's going to be like the coolest thing you can do for like this amount of, you know, like, obviously I'm not planning on going anywhere anytime soon.
You're sticking around.
But you don't know.
Well, yeah. True.
And
that is true.
And so like the whole idea of like the value of time is like so front and center with me right now. Like I don't want to waste a second on something that I don't think is worthwhile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I would love to, collaborate with more people. Like I've really enjoyed like doing collabs with friends the past few years.
Yeah.
And that actually, my friend Aaron, who is currently on tour with this thing called the Rock Orchestra over in Europe, they do classical music arrangements of like heavy rock songs.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, they're actually playing at the Met in December.
Hey.
Which is super exciting. But before she left, I started writing this other song, and I was like, what do you think of this? Like, maybe this could be like another collab when she gets back. So, it's kind of on hold right now, but I have like the bones of the song like pretty much already recorded in
great.
Logic.
Yeah.
So like the music track is basically there. Maybe I'll add a couple other things. But like the word, like she's gonna write a couple verses. I already have a couple verses written. So that'll be something I'd look forward to as well. But like primarily it is sort of the dual track that I've been on for the past year or two, which is as much book related stuff as I can do or get the opportunities to do, and keep plugging along with writing and recording new songs.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
Awesome.
I've had a pretty busy year.
You have.
In terms of like, it's the most playing I've done in a pretty long time.
That's
it's
awesome.
Like, it's cool. I like it a lot. But like, at a certain point, I'm also like, all right, well, let's get some more new music happening.
Sure.
Like I don't really feel the need to have like any kind of downtime, with putting out new songs. Like, back in the day, it was like, okay, you have an album cycle, and then nobody wants to hear anything from you for about a year.
Yeah, just hang out.
Then like write more songs. And I'm on an accelerated thing with this now. It's like I just want to do as much cool creative stuff as I possibly can, and whatever form that takes, I'm good with.
You also have a show with the Caulfields again coming up.
Correct.
That's exciting. That's near the end of the year.
That's near the end of the year. That's November 15th. That's actually our 30th anniversary of our first album show, and it's also our farewell show.
Yes, it is.
We have decided that, we've done a lot of little reunion things over the years, and they've all been great. But again, doing the math, we, like, if something turns 30, that's like, a lot of bands like celebrate that anniversary.
Yeah.
35, not so much. Like, that's kind of like, really?
Yeah.
That seems like a money grab to me. So then if you fast forward to the 40th anniversary in 10 years, and, I was just talking to my bandmates, well, 3 of whom are, like, from the original band, and Brett Talley, who plays in Ike, is the guitarist, but he's younger than we are, obviously.
Yes.
But if you take the 3 original members, and we were like, how old are you going to be in 10 years? Oh. Yeah. Nah.
No.
I mean, I'm not saying that it wouldn't be possible to do it, but, like, here's my thinking on it. And I've had to explain this to a couple people. It's like, the last thing I would want to happen is for the last show we ever do, like, be a downgrade. Like, people walking out of there and being like, yeah, it wasn't as,
I've seen them before.
I've seen better.
Yeah.
Like, I want the band's last show to be kick, and
Yeah.
we're still in a position to kind of do that, I think. Like, I still think that, we have it in us to deliver on that. But in 10 years, I would have my doubts.
Fair.
I
mean, there are plenty of really big groups that are still playing.
They're sticking around
and
too long.
it's just like, hey, guys.
Like...
Why?
I mean...
And you could tell.
Like, the Ozzy Osbourne thing, that was crazy because, like...
Well, that was...
Like,
yeah.
like he knew. He knew what was going to happen, like, shortly after.
100%.
And
very aware of it.
And, like, I think it was very cool that they did that. But bottom line is, he had to do it from a fucking chair, and I ain't never playing no show in a chair.
No chair.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So like
no shorts and no chair.
Correct. I'm wearing shorts today because it's not a stage day. It's funny, like I've been so militant about that over the years that I've known you, and like almost every Caulfields picture I find of me, I'm like, oh, I'm wearing shorts. But it was the 90s. That was a different thing.
That is true.
Totally
that is true.
different
90s
time.
were different. Early aughts were definitely more jeans time.
Yeah. So it's the hypocrisy, Gideon.
Yeah,
is just
well,
appalling.
Well, you nailed it into our heads. So.
Well, I'm glad that at least
that
you guys are carrying the torch. That's great.
Yeah, no shorts, no chair.
Yeah, no chair. Can't do it. But yeah, I mean,
I think that's the right move. That's a really exciting.
I'm positive it's the right move. And to be honest with you, like I said to one of my bandmates, I was like, "Did you notice that when we made this announcement, there was like literally no one saying like, no, don't do it." Like everyone knows that it's the right thing.
Yeah.
Like
the world could tell.
Yeah, so it's like
your fans could tell.
Yeah, this is good. This will be the right situation.
I mean, it's like if it's like you love a TV show, right? And and you stuck with it when it started, and you watch it, and it's brilliant, and then it just keeps going.
It just
and it's
sticks around for one too many
seasons.
Yeah.
One director change, one moment, like one actor leaves, and it's just like
that's exactly it. Like my bandmates and I talk about this a lot, and so I was talking with the drummer from the Caulfields, who is actually a few years older than I am. So he's the oldest member of the band.
Yeah.
From the core group, and he was like, "Man, like." Because he's a producer also. That's primarily what he does now. He produces other artists, and he produces his daughter, Olivia, who is she was just on The Voice last year. She's kicking ass. She's doing great.
Oh wow!
And he was like, "Man, like, these fucking bands, like, they'll be playing a song, and you're gonna be, or they'll playing a show rather, and like you're loving it, and then it gets to be like the 75-minute mark." And then they just keep going, and they keep going, and like at a certain, like he was very blunt about this. He's like, at a certain point, it's like, I hate this. It's like not only are you not like getting the satisfaction of like it being like great for like 70 minutes, but like you go over just a little bit, and you'd be like the mood just changes like that. It's like
it's real.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's keep it moving.
And so,
That's
like,
so true.
I'm very always kind of cognizant of that.
Yeah.
And I'm, if I didn't care so much and wasn't as protective as I am about like what the Caulfields mean to people and me personally, I would be like, sure, let's keep making money every couple of years.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's that much money to begin with. Like, honestly, like I lose money doing this, man. Like. It's like I'm playing like 2 like gigs at like breweries this month that are gonna pay for everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I know what the deal is. There's no like financial gain issues at play at all.
Right.
So I would rather like the band be like well thought of by the people that think highly of it.
Yeah.
And not risk anything going wrong with that.
Absolutely.
That's how I would look at it.
And that's exciting. That's an exciting show you got.
Yeah. Very thrilled.
Check them out in November.
Yes.
Where are you playing?
I'm playing in Delaware at the Queen.
The Queen.
In Wilmington.
Ooh. Stomping grounds.
Yeah. It's like where the band sort of cut its teeth.
Oh, awesome.
Homecoming, as it were. I mean, 2 of them still live in Delaware, so it's just like going around
the corner.
For them. But I will be driving to Delaware.
And that matters.
And that counts for something. And
great.
So
awesome. Something that always comes to mind for me, and you touched on it a little bit, is the like prominence of like time and how aware one can be of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly the reason why I'm doing this project to begin with. You know, when I was younger, I had lost a dear friend of mine, and it was one of those things where I was faced with grief for the first time and didn't have all the tools to understand it. And then now in my adulthood, or the beginning of my adulthood, I should say, I am so hyper aware of like the people around me, the time I get with them,
Yeah.
and, you know, making the most of that, doing what I can with it. And so when I decided to do this project, I was like, you know, this selfish part of me was like, well, I can capture time a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? I can capture these conversations with people that matter to me and that have informed me. And so that's really special. And with time comes memory. And memory changes and legacy. And so I love to ask the people on the pod about what legacy means to you. And honestly, as concise as you would take it, like, how would you like to be remembered? And what does that matter to you?
Right. I do think about this a lot. First of all, I totally respect your reasons for doing the project, because it's, you and I have the exact same motivation. Like I feel the same way about my podcast, Talking at the Diner. It's a way to capture conversations with people that you either A, care about, or B, just want to get to know better.
Yeah.
And it's a document
For sure.
of, you know, of those interactions, which I know I'm going to find very valuable on my deathbed.
Yes. Yeah, no, truly.
You know,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of material I can delve into. But as far as like how I would like to be remembered, I think that my caring about that is pretty limited, to be honest with you. I mean, I obviously have like a pretty substantial body of work that is going to outlive me.
Yeah.
That's not my motivation for doing it. And, you know, I mean, I would love, for example, for my children to, you know, maybe get to know me better. Like, I know for a fact neither one of them have read my book.
Yeah.
That's just
how it
the
is.
truth.
Yeah.
I think that someday they probably will delve into that. And, you know, it's a very honest book. They might read things about me that they're like, that motherfucker. But it'll be a very sincere document of my life in that period of time. And I think anybody who reads the book can get a pretty good idea of what makes me tick and who I am.
Yeah.
That's important to me. In terms of like, and I actually think about this a lot. It's like, I want my life to have meaning, and it does for me. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I expect a lot of other people to derive meaning from my life. Like, again, I made all these things, I created all these things as an artist in my life because that's what I want to do, and that's what makes me feel alive.
Yeah.
And it gives me my voice in the world, as it were. Like, let's face it, how many people are actually remembered like 2 generations beyond their being alive? Like,
Right.
Do you know anything about your great-grandparents? Maybe you do.
I know they're from Scotland.
Okay.
They came from Scotland.
And that's the thing. So if you go even further...
Yeah.
So that's really just like a few generations away, man.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think I have a pretty realistic outlook on, like, I'm not doing anything to be remembered, in part because I know for a fact that it won't be after a point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm somebody who has like a lot of creative that people could delve into, and it's still just going to be like sitting, you know, probably like on Spotify for the next 50 years or whatever. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't particularly derive any kind of like meaning from like the idea of legacy. I mean, but I think that's kind of why. Like, I think as human beings, like, if you're lucky enough to be in a position of prominence and, like, put your name on a library or something, like, that's going to be, like, how your name lasts down through the ages.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that's, but if you're not in that position, you're just, like, we're
here.
We're just here.
Yeah.
And I think you should seize on the opportunity of being here and make the most of it, but I don't have any, like, grand ideas about, like, I'm leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because if you just look at the facts, ain't nobody gonna know about this shit. Beyond, I mean, I don't even know if my kids will have kids. Like, there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
So beyond my own personal progeny.
Yep.
And, if they happen to have kids, maybe them.
Yeah.
Like, there's no expectation on my part that any of it will be given a second thought after that.
Mm.
I mean, maybe if I'm super lucky, maybe I have, like, a super fan out there who is having kids and then, somehow they're going to be like, Granddad was really into this band. But, I mean, how realistic is that?
You never know.
You never know, but it's also not
yeah.
anything to hang your hopes or hat on.
Exactly.
And, and I honestly, like, I do feel really strongly about the idea that we as human beings, as, like, a species, are kind of caught up in the hubris of, like, acting as if we matter more than we do in the scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
You should, while you're here, be a good person.
Yep.
Be kind.
Yep. Everybody
matters while we're here. But once we're dead, like, I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, you bring up a very good point.
I think it's like, honestly, like, this is a thought that I've been, like, swirling around in my head for a pretty long time, but I've never uttered it out loud. But I think, like, almost all philanthropy is either an ego trip or a guilt trip. Like,
yeah.
And it's like, it's because you want your name on that building, on that campus.
Yep. Yeah. Then
just shut up and write the check if you truly just want to help.
Right.
Like, you don't have to do, like, a whole pat yourself on the back thing.
That street doesn't have to be your name now.
No.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just question the whole mentality of that.
Like, leaving that mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. Like, it's providing a service. But you're getting something out of it, too.
Right. It's transactional.
Because you're putting your name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purely transactional.
And so, That's my little take.
couldn't put it better myself. Yeah. So true.
Yeah.
Well.
Make good music while you can.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy yourself. And just be a good person. Be the best person you can be. And that's all you can try to do.
That's words to live by.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with that, John, I think that just about wraps up our conversation.
This was a great opportunity to talk with you. I really appreciate it.
It was awesome. I've been so excited to do this with you. As soon as you said yes, I was like, oh, really?
I mean,
really, you will?
How could I say no? I mean,
little old me?
It's an opportunity to talk to someone who has been part of my life for years, but we've never really had this kind of opportunity.
We haven't, and I was really looking forward to being able to
this is great.
talk.
This is really cool.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
2 questions before you go.
Sure.
I want to keep this podcast moving. I want to talk to as many people as possible. It has been such a joy to make this project. So, with the many people that you know, I would love a reference. Someone that you could recommend for me to talk to. Who you think would make a good...
there's so many people.
Make a good episode.
Do you want me to tell you, like, off the top of my head, or make a little list for you?
Both.
Okay.
I would love a little list for me later. But if there's, like, just, like, a few that come to mind right now, I would love to hear.
One of the people that I really... I mean, the people that I have been... making collabs with over the past few years. They're very dear friends of mine. Aaron Fox would be a great person because, if you really want to talk about someone who's experiencing the life of a working musician in a very, very intense way,
Yeah.
touring the world and doing that kind of thing, I mean, she would be a great person to chat with. My friend Shook Daniels, who, in her own very different way, is making a life as a musician in just an extremely admirable, getting down in the trenches
Yeah.
kind of way.
Cool.
And I know you talk to more people than just musicians.
Yeah. Artists, anybody making stuff here in Philly.
Those two kind of come to mind. Annalise Curtin, who I also have done a collab with. I'm trying to think, my whole thing is everybody I know who's a musician in this town is worth talking to.
Yeah, that's what I've learned.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody has a story that's interesting and unique, and I don't your motivation behind these conversations is what? What do you want to get out of it?
I love hearing about the unique journey that people take.
Mm-hmm.
I really love focusing on the relationship people have to this city,
mm-hmm.
to Philly. I think that this arts culture is so unique
mm-hmm.
and not as known about. And so I really love enjoying, I really love breaking down the relationship people have with the city.
You know who would be really cool? Do you know who Taylor Kelly is?
Sounds familiar.
Taylor Kelly is a musician, was a UArts grad.
Yes. Rip.
And she is also the founder of this thing called the Iris Music Showcase.
Yeah.
Which, it's an incredible, all femme, basically, amplifying those voices.
Yeah, awesome.
And, she's really cool. Just a really, really great person, and just her personal story of how she moved to Philly after having gone to Berkeley, and just really I feel of all of my music friends, she is one for whom community and forming that through what she does with Iris is very, very important to her. That's kind of what draws me to her as a person.
Awesome.
So I would definitely reach out to any of those folks.
I absolutely will.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you.
No problem.
And with that, where can people find you?
Very easily. First place I would go is johnfaye.com. JOHNFAYE.com. It's my website. I update it myself.
Nice.
So it is pretty up to date, and it's actually pretty complete in terms of my history. There's a whole section on where things started and where they are now,
and about me.
It's got It's got obviously it's got all the show dates, and it's got actually my podcast lives on there in addition to all the other spots where you normally would find. Well, my podcast actually is part of my Patreon.
Oh, cool.
Which you can also find at patreon.com/JohnKimFay. But so the episodes kind of live on Patreon for a little bit, and then they go public on my website and Spotify and Apple.
Awesome.
So
what's the podcast called?
Talking at the Diner.
Yeah.
I take a musician out to eat.
That's so cool.
And we record the convo.
That's so fun.
It's super fun. Yeah. It's, I always like to say that a Western omelet is the ultimate truth serum.
Whoa. Nice.
It's true.
Hey. And you clearly have
Feed a musician, get the tea.
Get the tea. And you have all the episodes to back that claim up.
Yeah, we're approaching 50.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, how frequently do you do these? Do you have a release schedule?
I try to do it for a release, we try to do it bi-weekly.
That's very intensive, actually.
It is. We've hit road blocks here and there where we have to take a break, or we do 2 back-to-back, or like it's a little sporadic right now, but we're figuring it out.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, this would be,
this is great.
I think, episode 15.
Nice.
16, something like that.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, at the moment of recording, of course.
Of course.
And yeah, you're on social media as well?
Yes, so I'm primarily a Instagram/Facebook guy. So on Instagram, it's at John Kim Faye, and I guess you just look up John Faye on Facebook. I am on TikTok, but I hate it, and I'm thinking of deleting it.
Totally fair, completely understandable.
Might do a Jimmy Miller TikTok, actually. Just completely rebrand and go in that direction. Actually,
might as well.
To just circle back real quickly, because I just remembered this. The one thing that I do want to do before I die is to record and release the Shard Attack album, which would be all Jimmy Miller's dirty songs.
Oh, yeah. That's a good goal.
And it's a great goal, because honestly, there is a small but what I feel is bubbling under. It's like a little, like a Dr. Demento-esque little music scene that's here in town. And you figured you might just get like 3 or 4 acts of that ilk together and do like a little mini festival somewhere. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, yeah. Please go check out John everywhere that he mentioned, and keep up with everything he's got going on. I'll do my best as well to keep you all updated.
Keep up, people. Come on. Not getting any younger here.
I got a newsletter, so go jump on that. I update it as often as I can. Get everybody's art on there to go support it.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, this has been great. Thanks again.
Thank you, John. This was lovely.
A blast.
This was so fun. And thank you, the listener, for spending some time with us today, getting to know John and myself, and listening to our conversation. Share the podcast around. You know, anything helps. Share it with your neighbor, your music friends. If you got somebody you want on this podcast, shoot me an email. Happy to talk to anybody here in Philly. And yeah, we real art is made by real people. Thank your SEPTA drivers.
Yes.
I was your host, Gideon Carroll McDonald. This was another episode of the Philly Phone Book, a podcast archive. And have a great day.
Fantastic.